The new Obama administration has proposed a variety of stimulus and aid programs, all of them costing billions of dollars, of course, to try to keep the economy moving and get out of the recession. We recently sat down and reviewed current polling on 4 of these stimulus packages or plans to try to see if we could get a handle on how Americans stand on this expenditure of their money. Let's take first of all the overall stimulus plan, about $787 billion already signed into law by President Obama on February 17th. Our review of the data shows support for this plan. In our poll taken just before Congress passed the law, 59% supported the idea, and some polling after it has been passed into law also shows strong support. Second, the federal program to aid homeowners facing foreclosure. This has been controversial, but our review of data shows that a majority of Americans clearly support the idea of this type of program. You see in front of you our Gallup poll asking the question, and that's been replicated in other polls that have been conducted over the last several days. I should point out, however, some separate questioning on the part of Gallup showed that a majority of Americans don't necessarily believe that the program is fair, but nevertheless, the majority do support it. Third, federal aid to U.S. auto companies, more loans to the companies to try to keep them from going bankrupt. Our review of the data shows the majority of Americans clearly are opposed to an auto company bailout. Well over half of Americans who say no to this idea of helping the auto companies, even if it means they may go bankrupt. And fourth, the idea of spending more government money to aid failing U.S. banks and financial institutions. Our review of the data shows that a majority of Americans oppose to spending more to help the banks, although in some separate questioning, which is about a little different aspect of this whole situation, taking over U.S. banks if they're about to fail, we found a majority support for that idea if we use those words taking over temporarily, but a majority opposition when we use the word nationalizing banks. So let me review for you. Majority support for the stimulus bill in general, majority support for federal aid to homeowners facing foreclosure, majority opposition to more federal aid to banks, and majority opposition to more federal aid for U.S. auto companies. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Editor-in-Chief of the Gallup poll.